my beloved child. You are often too entangled in the busyness of life to recognize my voice. You chase after the rhythms of a hurried world, attuned to countless other sounds, and in doing so you forget the voice of the one who formed you from the dust and loves you with a love beyond measure. I have never ceased to knock upon the door of your heart, quietly, yet earnestly. But now, I no longer whisper. I speak with the clarity of noonday light, with the undeniable power of the Spirit. You must not disregard this, for what is being spoken has already been established, sealed by the eternal presence of my being. You are standing at the threshold of something sacred. These words are living truths, like a stream of holy water flowing to dismantle the walls you have built from hurt, doubt, and fear. They have the power to shatter chains that have bound your thoughts, to transform despair into hope, and to flood even the darkest corners of your soul with radiant light. Those very places you've long tried to hide your silent anguish. But this transformation will only take place if you choose to remain, not merely with eyes scanning words, but with a heart wide open, with a depth of listening that goes beyond intellect, with a faith fully anchored in me, the one who knows each beat of your heart. Do not turn away in the middle, for it is at the end that the greatest light shall be revealed. You will not remain the same if you endure until the last word. You will be led into a new dimension, where clarity once longed for will no longer be distant, but will become your daily breath, a living spiritual reality. Every word I speak to you now is a stream of living water flowing into the parched soil of your soul. These are not just words for the moment, but keys to unlock the door to your next season, the season of breakthrough, the season of growth, the season where you draw nearer than ever to your divine destiny. Do not walk away when the revelation has only begun to bloom. Do not shut your ears while my message is still unfolding. Let every word I sow into your spirit become a sacred seed. Let this message saturate you, not only in your thoughts, but deep within the innermost places of your being. For only when the roots go deep can the tree grow strong enough to rise high. And you will need that strength not only to receive blessings, but to hold them fast amid the trials that will surely come. What I give you now is more than just direction. It is opportunity. Opportunity to begin again, to step in, to live a life no longer bound by the forces that once restrained you. But you must remain in my presence. You must keep your heart tender, lest doubt suffocate the seeds of faith being planted. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to trust me. And do not assume these words are for someone else, for the better one, the holier one, or the one you believe is more worthy. No, these words are for you. Yes, you, in the very reality you are living, with all your broken pieces, all your unanswered questions, all the limitations you think disqualify you. I have chosen you. I am speaking to you, and I am waiting, not just for your arrival, but for you to remain. Beloved one, this is the appointed time, when I am reaching out my hand to intervene directly in your life, not merely to grant you temporary blessings, but to awaken a deep and total transformation within you. I am stirring a change that begins at the very root of your spirit, to position you in the exact destiny I prepared for you before the foundations of the world. I do not desire for you to merely survive in the chaos of this world. I am calling you to rise to a higher realm, a place where the spiritual atmosphere is purer, where your mind is renewed, your heart is healed, and your vision is enlarged. You were not born to live within the limits of this world, but to become a reflection of my light, carrying my glory everywhere the soles of your feet touch. In order for you to soar like the eagle, you must shed the burdens that were never meant to be yours, connections, habits, and mindsets that have grown old, limiting, and no longer align with the path I am now leading you into. There are people you once considered close, individuals who held important roles in your life, but now I ask you to recognize this truth. Not everyone who once walked with you is meant to continue the journey. Some connections were appointed only for a season, and if you insist on holding on to what has passed its time, you will bind yourself to the very things I am trying to set you free from. I understand that letting go is not easy. I see the inner struggle within you, the ache of detaching from those you once trusted, the relationships you once believed to be indispensable. But my child, even the most beautiful things can become burdens if you cling to them after I've called you to move forward. There are words sweet to the ear but laced with poison. There are glances that appear to be loving but subtly bind your wings with control, jealousy, and fear. I do not want you to remain tethered to those who fail to see the treasure within you, who treat you as a shadow of their unfulfilled dreams or as a vessel to feed their hunger for validation. Now I am calling you to bravely step out of the familiar comfort zone. Do not fear the momentary loneliness, for in that very emptiness, I will fill you with my presence. I will send into your life new people, souls who carry spiritual vision, hearts that resonate with your calling. They will not dim your light, but will encourage, ignite, and shield the sacred flame within you. What I bring to you is not just new friendship, but divine companionship. Relationships not based on selfish need, but founded upon truth, reverence, and a mutual spirit of edification. Do not look back on what you had to release with regret. Instead, look ahead with expectation and trust. Every time you release something that no longer serves your journey, you are making room for something better, purer, and more worthy to enter. I am leading you out of the shadows of compromise, fear, and insecurity, into a season of light, of clarity, and divine power. No longer will you plead for acceptance from those who cannot recognize your worth. I am the one who engraved your name upon the palm of my hand. I am the one who sees you, who chose you, and who has commissioned you into a purpose greater than your imagination can hold. You no longer need to defend yourself against misunderstanding, judgment, or rejection. When you obey me and step away from toxic relationships, I become your shield and your advocate. I will stand for you and fight on your behalf when you choose to stand in truth and light. I will place around you a shield of spiritual protection, where the enemy's lies, wounds, and fears that once tormented your soul cannot reach you. What once caused you to fall will no longer have power over you. Remember this, my beloved. The path of ascension is never an easy one. Every step forward requires surrender. Yet know this, child. When you surrender for my sake, it is never a loss. It is a divine investment into your eternal destiny. I am not taking from you. I am cleansing you to make space for treasures more precious, more enduring, and more complete. Just as a potter cannot mold a new vessel if the clay is still impure, I cannot elevate you until you have decisively released what contaminates your soul. You are a magnificent creation in my hands, fashioned to radiate light, to bring healing, to unlock and make way for many others to step into freedom. But first, you must enter that freedom yourself. I am removing from you all that has made you feel small, invisible, and unworthy. I am replacing the voices of criticism with the loving affirmation that flows from my own lips. I am teaching you how to rise in your true identity, as a child of light, a warrior of truth, and the chosen one who will shake the walls of falsehood, silence, and fear. Do not be surprised when some doors close. Do not be disheartened when some people leave without farewell. That does not mean you have been abandoned. It means I am refining the path ahead of you. The doors I open, no one can shut. And the ones I bring into your life will remain, not because they need something from you, but because I have called them to walk beside you for the sake of a greater plan. Lift your eyes, dear one. Do not dwell on what has been lost. Focus instead on what is coming. A new season cannot be mingled with the old. Your day of glory is drawing near, and as you choose to walk by faith, I will prove to you that nothing you surrender for me will go unrewarded. I will return it 100-fold, in true joy, in deep peace, and in divine relationships designed to nurture you. I am here with arms wide open and a heart full of love. Let me lead you out of the fog of compromise and into the radiant light of clarity, authority, and purpose. This is the moment where you must decide. Will you cling to what is familiar but destructive, or will you let go to grasp the new life I am offering you? Choose, my beloved child, for I have already chosen you from the very beginning to live, to soar, and to become the extraordinary being you were created to be. The words I am about to speak are a heavenly confirmation, meant to affirm the sacred position you have been given. I am using my living, powerful word to lift you from the ruins, to shape you in the chaos, and to transform you into a vessel of excellence, not to shine by the standards of this world, but to reflect my light in the darkness that weighs upon human hearts. You are not the product of the circumstances that once suffocated your faith. You are not the result of the cruel words that once tore at your soul, the harsh judgments, the scornful glances, the quick condemnations you have endured. They are but dust without weight in the eternal realm I have prepared for you. Do not allow careless words or cold indifference to rob you of the sacred worth I engraved upon your being before time began. You are not defined by wounds, by failures, or by how others have treated you. You are defined by my decree, the decree of the Creator, the one who knows you more intimately than anyone else, who saw you before anyone laid eyes on you, and who loved you long before you ever knew how to love yourself. You far surpass the cheap labels the world tries to stick onto your life. Titles like failure, not good enough, too weak, or unworthy. All of these are lies, carefully crafted deceptions from the enemy meant to make you forget who you truly are in me. But now, I am tearing down every mental barrier, dismantling every chain forged by judgment and pain. I am clothing you in a new garment, the robe of dignity, of righteousness, of one who has been called to something far greater than what the eye can see. You are anointed to carry a mission, to reach lost souls, to rebuild what has been broken, and to ignite hope in places that seem beyond redemption. Never shrink yourself to fit into someone else's mold. Do not fold into silence just because you fear being judged or rejected. The light within you was never meant to be hidden. It was born to shine. I am giving you inner strength so you can stand firm in the midst of storms, so you can speak life into a world drowning in confusion. I am equipping you with courage to face darkness, not to retreat from opposition, but to love even your adversaries with the truth I have embedded within you. You do not need to please everyone. You only need to please me. I take delight when I see you stand in truth, even if it means walking alone in the crowd. Yet you are never truly alone, For I am with you. My presence surrounds you like a mighty fortress, and I will send to you kindred hearts, those who do not envy your light, but protect it and fan its flame to burn even brighter. You have been called to extraordinary things, not according to the world's definition of success, but according to the kind that stirs heaven into motion, strikes fear into the powers of darkness, and leads wandering souls back into the light. You are my vessel, not to boast, but to pour out healing love and liberating truth. Within your heart lies a calling that exceeds every limit you've ever imagined, and as you walk forward in confident faith, nothing can stop what I am doing through you. So walk, my beloved, not in anxiety, but with full assurance that I am going before you, preparing the way. Even if you cannot yet see the whole picture, I already see it in full. I have written your life story with divine precision in every detail. You are not here by accident. No bend in your journey is without meaning. Even what looks like failure, I will transform into a launching pad for my glory to be revealed in your life. My child, it is time for your voice to rise, not in bitterness or complaint, but in the sound of one who has been healed, renewed, and awakened to their true worth in me. Do not stay silent in the face of wrong. Do not look away from the pain of others. You are called to act, to stand, to lead, and I will pour out upon you wisdom beyond your years, insight beyond your circumstances, and courage greater than your fears. If you have ever doubted yourself, remember this: I, the one who formed the stars and calls them each by name, have placed you in this exact moment, with a distinct purpose, and with a power the world cannot comprehend. I do not see you through the lens of your past. I see you through the potential I planted within you, and that potential is not dead. Nor has it disappeared because of your stumbles. It is still alive, waiting for the moment you dare to believe again. My beloved child, do not be surprised when the door of your life's calling begins to open in extraordinary ways before your very eyes. It is I who have chosen you, not because you are flawless, but because I see the treasure buried deep within your heart, the very thing the world fails to recognize. I have placed my hand upon your life, anointed you with my grace, and appointed for you a journey unlike any other. Everything I have ordained for you is holy, eternal, and untouched by the powers of this world or the forces of darkness. What I have sealed with my authority cannot be undone. You have walked through seasons of pain, abandonment, and misunderstanding, not because you were worthless, but because the light within you was too radiant for the darkness to ignore. Those who mocked you, who turned their backs on you, who believed you would never become anything, they will stand astonished as they witness the brilliant transformation I am unfolding within you, not so you can prove anything to them, but so that my glory may be revealed in a way that is undeniable. Your elevation will become a testimony of my faithfulness, and through it, many will be compelled to examine their own hearts. Guard your heart with wisdom and discernment, for not everything that returns carries restoration. There will be those who come back with motives that remain impure. Some may wear the appearance of repentance, yet harbor manipulation, envy, or a desire to lay claim to what I have given exclusively to you. You must not be swayed by sweet words that lack genuine contrition. Learn to look beyond appearances, to perceive the heart, something that can only be discerned in my presence. However, there will also be souls who return for the right reasons, not because they seek something from you, but because they have truly encountered me. They have been touched, broken, and now hunger to live in the light they once rejected. They will come not with polished words, but with sincere humility. You will recognize them by the honesty that shines through their eyes and through even the smallest gestures, They do not return to take a place, but to express repentance, to ask for forgiveness, and to rebuild in true love. In the days ahead, you will witness a divine reversal in relationships. Those who once turned away will be moved by the undeniable life flowing through you. They will no longer see you as you once were, but will be confronted with the reality that you have been transformed by a presence they cannot deny. Yet do not allow their admiration to blur your clarity. You do not need their affirmation, for the only approval you require, you have already received from me. I want your heart to remain tender, yet unshakable. Be quick to forgive, but not naive in reopening your heart to every soul who returns. Forgiveness is the path to freedom, but trust must be rebuilt over time and guided by the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. Do not rush to reconnect with what I have severed, unless I clearly lead you to do so. There are some whom I will restore to your life as part of your healing, but there are others who must remain behind, for their chapter in your story is complete. Remain faithful, and do not fall into the trap of pity or fleeting emotions. When I restore you, I do more than heal your wounds. I open your spiritual eyes so that you may clearly distinguish between what is real and what is merely a disguise. The restoration I am bringing is not merely for your joy, but to equip you, to prepare you for greater responsibilities, for more intense spiritual confrontations, and for deeper divine communication. This is the season where you must walk by the feet of faith, yet with eyes wide open, in spiritual clarity. Not everyone who expresses regret is worthy of a new place in your life, but I also want you to understand this. My grace surpasses even the past mistakes of others. I can transform those who once caused pain into instruments of healing if they truly surrender to me. The discernment I am giving you in this season does not come from suspicion, but from maturity. You are no longer a child in faith, easily swayed by flattering words. Now you are a bearer of responsibility, one who is sent, one who carries spiritual influence. Every decision you make holds weight, not just for your own journey, but also for the lives of those I am preparing to bring alongside you. Remember this, my beloved one. You are not called to dwell in the past, but to move forward in the glory of the present and the future. The past no longer has authority to bind you, whether it held sweet memories or bitter sorrow. I have closed those former chapters, and I am writing a new one, where you will walk without fear, no longer questioning, am I enough? Because you will know with certainty that I am the one who lifts you, who strengthens you, and who walks with you to the very end of your journey. As you step into this new season, a season of restoration and divine repositioning, I am inviting you to open your heart more fully, not with naive vulnerability, but with a deep love that flows from the very fountain of my grace. Do not shut down your soul because of old wounds or past disappointments that once led you to doubt the hearts of others. Do not let yesterday's pain build walls that keep you from those who are now searching for the light, for it is very possible that you, overflowing with the life I have placed within you, will be the lighthouse in the night, the warm flame in the cold wind, the voice of life in a land that once seemed lifeless. I am using you as a bridge so that weary souls may find their way home. You may not know how many eyes are silently watching your life, longing for a genuine faith like the one you carry. Some will come to you unable to voice their pain. They may not ask for help, but deep within they are yearning for a kind glance, a gentle word, a welcoming spirit that does not judge. And when you reach out in love, when you dare to open your heart to them, you are partnering with me in a holy work, the work of healing. Love as I have loved you, without condition, without demands, without keeping record of wrongs. The love I've placed in your heart is not a fragile love, easily shattered by rejection, but a steadfast love that endures, that is patient, that quietly sows seeds even when no harvest is yet in sight. That love will become the loudest testimony of who I am, more powerful than sermons, more piercing than words. It will cut through the hardened shell of skepticism, seep into hearts parched by wounds, and awaken the embers of hope that once seemed extinguished. Give the same kindness that you have experienced. Those moments when I held you up as you were on the verge of collapsing, those nights when I whispered into your heart when no one else could understand the weight you bore. Do not keep this precious gift to yourself. The grace you have received is not meant to be hoarded like a private treasure, but to be poured out like living water in a barren land. Each time you sow an act of kindness, no matter how small, you are reaching into places no one else has touched. And it is in those seemingly quiet, unnoticed acts of compassion that great things begin to unfold. However, I am also calling you to walk with discernment. Not every hand extended toward you is reaching out in sincere love. Not every gentle voice carries purity of intention. But I have given you the gift of discernment, like a lamp guiding your path through the darkness. Do not entrust your heart completely based on a fleeting emotion. Always remember, you are not walking alone. I am leading you, step by step, through paths that once seemed tangled and uncertain. My hand is silently upholding you, shielding you from unnecessary falls, and directing you to the very place where you are meant to be. Compassion is a sacred flame, not to burn you, but to illuminate the darkness within others. When you allow your spirit to become a living reflection of my grace, you create a resonance that can reach even the most hardened hearts. You may not see the outcome right away, but know this: when you love with a heart touched by me, nothing is ever wasted. Every glance filled with empathy, every sincere word, every act of kindness, they are all seeds of hope, sown not into soil, but into the depths of human hearts. Do you know this, my beloved? It is your compassion that will tear down the walls built by years of pain. It is your love-filled presence that will cause others to pause and wonder, what power is moving within that person? And in that moment, I will use you as a doorway for them to step into truth, into life, and into my embrace. Love does not need to be grand to be powerful. Sometimes a hug, a simple blessing of peace, a look free of judgment. These are the very things that can alter a person's destiny. Do not underestimate the value of what may seem small. I am watching it all, and I am causing every seed you plant to grow. I will water it with my grace. I will cause it to sprout and flourish in due season. Your unwavering faithfulness will be a living testimony to the world that I am real, that I am not a distant concept, but the living one who acts, who moves, and who loves through those who are willing to surrender. And you are one of them. When you hold on to faith through trials, when you do not give in to the temptation of bitterness or vengeance, when you persist in love, all of heaven rejoices. For I see in you a heart more precious than gold. My precious one, keep loving, even when others do not reciprocate. Keep giving, even when not everyone is thankful. Keep building, even when at times you feel alone. For I myself am your reward. I am your endless source, and I will be beside you, watching every step, bearing witness to every tear, and lifting you up each time you grow weary. I am using you to kindle a light that no darkness can extinguish. So do not close off your heart. Do not shrink back. Do not stop believing in what is good. For I, the one who has loved you, called you, and now lives in you, will not allow your love to be in vain. I will return to you all that you have sown in love, in the right time, in the right way, and in measures far greater than you ever expected. You are the living letter of my grace, the undeniable proof of my unchanging patience, kindness, and faithfulness. And with every day, with every breath you take, I am continuing that story. Through your compassion, your tireless love, and your unwavering faith. You are not just a witness, you are the evidence, and through you, I will let the world know that love remains, hope has not faded, and light still overcomes the darkness. My beloved child, in every path you take in this life, I want you to hold fast to a truth that is sacred and unchanging. My influence is quietly yet powerfully shaping every detail of your journey. Every turn, every door that opens or closes, even the steps that may seem meaningless, all of it remains under my sovereign rule. I do not merely watch you from afar. I am actively intervening, guiding, and molding you in ways only Almighty love can accomplish. Even when you cannot see clearly, you can rest assured that I am moving unceasingly, leading you to the very place you were always meant to be. Stay close to me, my child. Do not let your heart be swept away by the clamor of life. In my presence, you will find a kind of strength the world can never offer, a strength not drawn from muscle or talent, but from a quiet within, born of the deep knowing that I am holding you securely in my unwavering hand. When you remain near to me, the things that once made you tremble will lose their grip. What once seemed insurmountable will become stepping stones to elevate you, and right there, in the stillness where it is just you and me, I will renew your soul. Like a cool breeze after a scorching day, like a sudden downpour refreshing a parched field. Take hold of the strength I am placing within your heart, not with clenched fists, but with a surrendered spirit. This strength does not come from your personal striving, but from the unity between you and me. When you stop struggling alone and begin to lean on me, you will find the burdens feel lighter and the trials appear smaller, not because they vanish, but because I, who dwell within you, am greater than anything you could ever face. Keep your eyes fixed on me, child, for from me comes the opening of doors, not because of your effort, but through the power of faith. Paths once hidden by fog, doors once sealed shut, will swing wide open as you walk forward in belief, not blind belief, but faith anchored in the unshakable truth that I am faithful and I never break my word. Wherever true faith is found, there I move. Let your faith become the armor guarding your mind, the firm ground beneath your every step, and the unwavering light that illuminates your way. Faith in me will steady you in the storm, anchor you in times of transition, and keep you from surrendering when misunderstood. It is that very faith that will uphold you when everything else seems to collapse. That faith is a sacred weapon, impenetrable by darkness, the key that unlocks the miraculous, and the resounding voice in the night that declares, I know to whom I belong. Do not let what your eyes perceive overshadow what I have placed deep within your heart. Not everything of true worth is easily seen. Some victories come not with fanfare but in stillness, Some turning points arrive not with loud announcements, but through quiet perseverance rooted in trust in me. You do not need to see in order to believe. It is when you choose to believe that you will see. No obstacle, whether external or deep within you, can stand against the power of my being that dwells in you. Understand this: I am not just beside you, but my spirit is alive within you, breathing through every breath, working through every step. When you speak life, it is I who speaks through you. When you stretch your hand toward another, it is my blessing that flows through your touch. And when you feel you have nothing left to offer but a broken heart, that is when I will pour out my fullness upon you. And in that moment, you will know that true power does not reside in your human strength, but in the living presence of me within you. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you grow weary, times when doubt creeps in like a thief in the night. There are times when you look around and wonder, is what I believe really true? Am I truly walking the right path? But let your heart be still. Every moment you choose to remain connected to me, every step you take in the light of truth, is a step deeper into your divine destiny. Even when you cannot see the full picture, I can. And I have gone before you to prepare the way. Every trial is a layer of training. Every tear is a prayer wrapped in sacred expectation. And every sigh is a whisper I am listening to. So, my child, keep moving forward. Even when you don't hear the applause, keep walking. Even when no one sees the weight of your effort, remain faithful. Even when you only see one small step at a time, keep advancing. I do not measure you by speed, but by steadfastness. I am not seeking those who never fall. I uphold those who fall, but choose to rise again and walk on. Your faith is a spiritual declaration, resounding to both heaven and earth, that you are not living by fleeting emotions or temporary circumstances, but you are anchored in the one who cannot be shaken, and, my child, that shakes the heavens. That brings me such deep joy. I never promised that the path ahead would always be smooth, but I do promise that I will always be with you. I did not say the storms would never come, but I guarantee the storm will not consume you when I am your shelter. I do not block every challenge from reaching you, but I will use those very challenges to highlight your strength and unwavering loyalty. Every crack, every scar within your soul, if you surrender it to me, will become a window through which my light shines forth. Guard your heart against the dark ripples of bitterness and resentment, for they are the most subtle of thieves, silently stalking the sacred joy I have planted within you. Do not let unhealed wounds, hurtful words, or painful memories become invisible chains that bind your steps in exhaustion and despair. If you harbor them in your mind, they will take root like venom in your soul, drying up every new thing I long to cause to bloom within you. Remember, the enemy always tries to convince you to carry your pain as if it were part of your identity, so you remain trapped in hurt and lose sight of the future. But I, the one who loves you with an unchanging love, say this to you: you were not born to carry the weight of bitterness. You were born to walk in the lightness of forgiveness, in the brilliance of healing, and in the joy that surpasses every circumstance. Those who have lost their faith and surrendered to despair are not weak. They simply have not yet encountered the sacred wellspring of strength that I freely give. They have not yet known what it is to bury their head in my chest and find peace that surpasses understanding. They have not sat still in the holiness of my presence long enough for their souls to be filled with new life. But you, my child, you are different. You have touched me with your tears. You have whispered prayers in the silence of your heartbreak. You have clung to my hand when everything else around you seemed to collapse. And that is precisely why I chose you. Not because you were stronger, not because you were more deserving, but because in the midst of the storm, your heart still turned toward me. You chose to believe, even when you could not see. You continued walking, even when your steps trembled. I have seen each time you overcame fear to show kindness. I understand the sleepless nights you endured as you wrestled with obedience. I witnessed your steadfastness, unseen, uncelebrated by others, but honored and recorded in heaven, more precious than any earthly crown. You were chosen to live not by what is seen, but by the call of faith, a call that beckons you to walk upon ground you've never tread before, to open your heart to things far beyond your current understanding. You are called to live as though what has not yet come to pass is already reality, because my promises are as sure as the rising sun. This is the life of those who belong to me, not driven by wavering emotions, but rooted in unshakable trust in the one who never changes. Let your faith become the rhythm of your days, the force that propels you forward, even when everything around you remains unfinished and uncertain. Let that faith be the voice that rises within you whenever fear surges, whenever you face the unknown, whenever all doors appear closed. You may not know what the next step holds, but you know the one who holds your hand, and that is enough. Do not permit the shadows of the mind, doubt, anger, discouragement, to find residence in the sacred chambers of your soul. You are my temple, the dwelling place of my presence, where there is no room for negativity or despair. Whenever you feel dark thoughts creeping in, pause and remind your spirit, you are not a victim of your past. You are an heir to the promise. You are not abandoned. You are chosen, and you are never alone. For I am with you every moment, every breath. I know there are times when your heart feels empty, when what you've longed for still seems distant, when my promises sound like echoes far away. But do not mistake my silence for absence. In that silence, I am building within you a spiritual depth that nothing else can create. I am strengthening your faith not through displays, but through concealment. Not all great things are built amid applause. Sometimes, the greatest works are formed in solitude, where no one sees. But heaven is watching. Keep your heart pure, even when others dwell in falsehood. Keep loving, even when you've been hurt. Keep sowing goodness, even when no one says thank you. For what I see is the heart, not what you display, but what you choose to preserve when no one is watching. And I have seen, clearly, that you still believe in me, that you still hunger for truth, that you still long to live out the purpose I destined for you. Your destiny is not in the hands of man. No look of disdain can stop what I have ordained. No failure, no matter how bitter, can undo the good plans I have written just for you. Do not let the voices of the world drown out my voice within you. My voice may whisper gently, but it carries authority. It will always lift you up, remind you to whom you belong, and reignite a hope that no circumstance can extinguish. You are on the path toward something far more glorious than anything you have ever dared to dream. Do not look at your circumstances to measure what is possible. Look to me to measure faithfulness. I have called you by name. I have chosen you among multitudes. I have redeemed you at the highest cost, and I will never let go of your hand, no matter how long the journey, no matter how rough the road may become. Every step you take, I take with you. Every prayer you whisper, I hear. Every tear you shed, I gather and hold. Therefore, my child, lift your head high, let your heart be full of hope, grip tightly the promise I have spoken, and walk forward in unshakable faith. What lies ahead is not just a reward, it is the unveiling of glory, the glory of the one who lives within you and works wonders that no power can hinder. And on that day all of heaven will rise in one voice and declare, "This one believed," and it was through that very faith that the miraculous was made manifest. It is time for you to rise, not as one who stumbles to their feet after defeat, but as a warrior who has been refined in the furnace of trials, who has endured the long night of weeping, and now rises with eyes that no longer retreat. You rise not by your own strength, but in the unfailing power of mine, the power that has forged you through every season of hardship, every fall that seemed beyond recovery, and every moment of silence when you chose love instead of retaliation in the face of misunderstanding. Do not fear anything. No force under heaven can overpower someone who has been filled with my spirit of life and victory. No circumstance, no matter how bleak, can suppress your soul when you walk in the authority I have placed upon you. That which once brought you down will become the very platform that lifts you higher. The pain that once pierced your heart will become the testimony of my faithfulness, and the things that once threatened to bury you will stand as living proof that I, the God of all seasons, took you by the hand and turned ashes into glory. Stand now in the strength that has always been yours. Let each of your steps echo with the boldness of one who cannot be defeated. Do not let your past bind your present. Do not let the old words that once wounded you become the walls that prevent you from living out the divine potential rising within. You were created to conquer, not to bow in defeat. You were called out of darkness, not to remain there, but to walk in light. And now I call you to embrace courage, not a fleeting bravery, but the kind that is rooted in steadfast faith in the one who never abandons you. You have been refined in hidden places where no one else saw, in the moments you fell with tears, in the silence when you chose forgiveness over vengeance, in the times you stood alone to follow me. These were the divine trainings I used to shape your soul. These were battles fought in secret, yet they are worth more than any earthly triumph. And now, you are ready. This is no longer the time to doubt yourself. This is the time to step forward and live out the sacred destiny written specifically for you, not a calling formed by the voices of people, but a divine choice made by me. Unlock the potential you've never dared to reach. Spread the wings that once folded under the weight of pain. Step out of the cage built from fear, insecurity, and old accusations. There is now nothing that can hold you back except your own choice. For I have appointed for you a future without limits, a realm of heaven wide open where you will not merely survive, but rise in strength. I have prepared for you territories of the Spirit yet to be claimed, fields untouched, and souls waiting for your presence, the bearer of light, of love, of life. Nothing you've been through has been wasted. Every battle was a step toward becoming. Every waiting season was to teach you how to hear my voice in silence. And now, the great transformation you once prayed for, it is right before your eyes. I have not only given you opportunity, but I have also given you preparation. Do not be surprised when you begin to see everything in your life being shaken. This is because I am removing the old, tearing down unstable foundations, and setting you firmly upon that which cannot be moved. I am reshaping your destiny, not according to the mold you once dreamed of, but according to the original design drawn by my very hand, with every detail soaked in eternal love and meaning. You once dreamed of small things because you believed you were unworthy of greater ones. But I, the creator of the universe, have never written a mediocre destiny for anyone I call my child. What I have for you is not merely protection, but expansion, not just healing, but full restoration, not only peace, but brilliance. You are not destined to hide among the crowd, but to rise, to shine among weary souls, and to become a beacon of inspiration, of hope, of new life. I urge you now, be prepared, not to return to the life you once knew, but to step into new territory, one that will require greater faith, broader vision, and a stronger heart. You cannot carry old baggage into a new season. Doubts, hesitations, wounds still aching. Give them to me. Lay them all at my feet, so that your hands may be free to receive what is great and glorious. Let your heart overflow with expectancy, not because you are worthy, but because I am faithful. My beloved, in a world full of skepticism and hasty judgments, there are those who have looked at you with eyes clouded by unbelief, with narrow assumptions and with predictions rooted in doubt about your potential. They saw temporary weakness, but could not see the strength being forged in the furnace of the Spirit. They noticed your silence, unaware that within it were hidden prayers of great power. They assumed you would give up, fall apart, fade away. But they failed to see the most precious truth of all, that in the midst of it all, you chose the one thing that could save your soul. You chose to seek me, and in that seeking you stepped into the most sacred space, the place where dreams are reshaped, where wounds are healed, where the heart is reconnected to the one who holds your life in his hands. Others may not recognize what is taking place within you, but I see every subtle movement of your heart, every flicker of light in the darkness, every fragile yet determined beat of a soul refusing to give up. You do not need to prove anything to the world. You do not need to argue with others about how strong you are. It is your unwavering devotion, your silent loyalty, your faith not based on emotion, and your longing that refuses to be extinguished, that speaks louder than any declaration. You were not created to surrender, but to overcome through surrendering to me. I have received your devotion as a pure offering, and I have used it as the key to unlock doors that no one else can walk through. Because you chose to believe, I chose to act. Because you chose to walk by faith even when the path was unclear, I chose to clear the way. Not because of your strength, but because you have allowed me to be your only strength. What once hindered you is now being removed, layer by layer, by my hand. The invisible walls, built from hurtful words, from a past marred by failure, from dreams once trampled, are crumbling one by one under the weight of my power. I am leveling the rugged places in your soul and rebuilding the foundation of your faith on what is unshakable and everlasting. My child, your journey is not a sequence of random movements. Each step you take is intricately woven into the divine blueprint I designed long before your first breath. Though you may not fully perceive it, I have gone before you, preparing the way. Though you may not grasp the fullness of what is unfolding, every footstep of yours, made in quiet obedience, is shaking the spiritual realm with power. You think you are simply walking, but I see you entering a new territory, a sacred ground where your destiny will flourish, not by your ability, but by my unwavering faithfulness. I do not measure your success by the applause of others, but by the silent devotion you offer me when no one is watching. I have witnessed the moments you chose prayer over complaint, restraint over retaliation, and surrender over self-will. Because of this, I have given you my guidance, not merely to help you find your way, but to lead your soul in peace. I do not only clear the path before you, I enlighten your understanding so that every decision you make is saturated with divine wisdom. You do not need to fear what lies ahead. As long as your heart remains consecrated and your faith rests firmly on me as your unshakable foundation, everything you need will arrive at the appointed time. What I have ordained for you cannot be stolen by anyone. No circumstance can reverse my plan. If you remain faithful and obedient, even the failures of your past, if surrendered into my hands, can become the very foundation upon which I will build a restoration so profound that it will astonish even you. Therefore, my beloved, do not stop. Even when surrounded by skeptical eyes, by quiet ridicule, by seasons of loneliness where no one understands the path you're following, keep walking. What others cannot see is precisely what I am using to shape the calling on your life. You have learned to hear my voice in the storm, to trust me when others turned away, and to wait upon me when time seemed to stand still. None of these things have gone unnoticed. They are the living testimony that you are mine. As you continue to surrender your heart to me, I will continue to align your life with my divine purpose. I will synchronize your movements with the timing of heaven. I will open doors not because of your effort, but because I hold the keys. I will connect you to relationships I have ordained, those who are not sent to drain you, but to strengthen and uphold you. I will place you in positions no one believed you deserved, not to glorify you, but to make it known that those who trust in me will never be put to shame. And finally, my precious one, I want you to know that your life is not without meaning. Each day you live, every word you speak in faith, every unseen sacrifice, is like a golden thread I am weaving into the majestic tapestry of my glory. When you choose me above all else, you have chosen the very best, and I, the one who holds all time and authors every destiny, will ensure that every detail of your life unfolds in perfect beauty, just as I envisioned it from the depths of my eternal heart. My beloved child, pause for a moment and allow your heart to truly be still. Let your soul be reminded of a truth that has never changed. It was I who formed you, not by chance, but with deep love and intentional design. Every part of you, your most striking strengths, the gifts that make you unique, and even the fragile places that seem like disadvantages, has been carefully molded by my wise hands. Even the quiet longings you cannot explain, the subtle stirrings from deep within, are not coincidences. They are echoes from the very source of your soul, gentle reminders that you belong to something greater, something sacred. I have composed the story of your life like a symphony, where every note is placed with purpose and every chapter carries meaning. Not a single moment is wasted. Not one step is without value. Every smile you've ever offered, every tear you've shed, every pause along the way, every pause and every rise, I have seen them all. They are inscribed in the living pages I wrote for you from the beginning of time. Your life is not a chaotic sequence of random events. It is a carefully orchestrated journey born from the heart of a loving God who never makes a mistake. You were created according to my good and kind will. The plans I have for you are not only good, They are drenched in compassion. Every hidden dream you carry in your heart, if it was birthed in communion with me, will not be forgotten. Every desire to live with meaning, to belong, to contribute to something beyond yourself, is the unconscious response to my divine invitation, whispered constantly to your soul. I do not merely want you to survive. I want you to live fully, to live with purpose, and to live in abundance. This world, my child, will never cease its noise. The voices are loud, enticing, clever, and often cloaked in what appears to be wisdom. They will try to pull you away from the faith you've been holding on to. They will sow doubt in your heart, whispering that perhaps I don't really care, that maybe you're just fooling yourself. They will tempt you to trust in your own strength, in fleeting achievements, in temporary values, in glamorous but hollow paths, roads that ultimately lead only to weariness, isolation, and aimlessness. But in the midst of all that noise, one thing remains unshakable: the whisper that is soft yet deep, one that only those who dare to listen can truly hear. It does not come from outside, but from the deepest place within your soul, where I have planted a hunger that no earthly joy can satisfy. It is not a hunger of the body, but of the spirit, a yearning to recover what is truly yours, what your soul has always known to be true: me. That hunger is not a burden, but an invitation. It does not make you weak, it makes you strong, because it draws you closer to me each day. It causes you to seek, to knock, and to discover that nothing on this earth can fill the emptiness in your heart but my presence alone. Success will not satisfy you. Relationships will not quiet your soul. Fleeting pleasures may warm you momentarily, but they always leave a deeper thirst. That, my child, is the sign that you were made for something eternal. That something is me. You were not created to walk this path alone. You were never meant to bear the weight of life on your own shoulders. From the very beginning, you were designed to journey with me, to live in intimate relationship with the one who formed you, to have every step illuminated, every decision guided, and every dream shaped within the light of eternity. I do not want you to merely exist. I want you to walk beside me so that each day is not just a series of meaningless events, but a sacred part of discovering and fully living out the destiny I have written into your being. Every time you return to me, even if it's just a quiet whisper within your heart, I receive you. I do not demand perfection from you, but I do desire honesty. I do not ask you to come to me in strength, but in sincerity. I am not waiting for you to prove anything, but I long for you to draw near, simply because you belong to me. Do not let the world steal that whisper. Do not allow life's disappointments to seal off that sacred space within you by filling it with false substitutes. Stay hungry, and let it be I who answers that hunger. For when you seek me, you will find me. When you knock, I will open. When you place your trust fully in me, I will reveal myself in ways beyond what you could ever imagine. Not always through loud and wondrous miracles, but sometimes through the quiet peace that settles over a chaotic day. Sometimes it's just a gentle reminder amidst life's noise. I am still here, and I still love you, as I did from the beginning. You were created not to walk in fear, but in love. Not in confusion, but in clarity. Not in striving, but in companionship. And every day, as you step forward in trust, as you allow your hunger to lead the way, You are walking straight into the center of the beautiful plan I have prepared for you. And my dear one, no matter how many times you've gone astray, hesitated, or collapsed in weariness, know this: I have not changed. My love for you remains whole and unwavering. My call for you to return is never a voice of condemnation, but a call of mercy. I never tire of waiting for you. I never grow discouraged by your slow steps, and I never cease working in the places you cannot yet see. My beloved, in the relentless flow of life, amidst all the upheavals and uncertainties, I urge you to hold fast to faith, not a fragile faith easily shattered by the winds, but a faith as firm as a rock, as deep as the ocean, as unyielding as sunlight breaking through the darkest night. Hold on to that faith as you would your very life, for it is not only the key that unlocks the door to miracles, but also the sacred thread that ties you to me, the one who is ever faithful, ever listening, and always moving beyond the boundaries of your understanding. Every prayer you've offered in sincerity, whether whispered through tears in the night or uttered amid the noise of the day, I have recorded. Every cry of your heart longing for righteousness, for healing, for restoration, none of it is lost to the void. Believe this: not a single one of your prayers is in vain. All are being gathered by me, and at the perfect time, they will be released like a downpour of blessings, poured out over your life, not in the way you expected, but in the way I know is best for you. And now, as you step into a new chapter of your journey, a new season unfolding in your spirit and destiny, I invite you to awaken a holy expectation within your soul. Do not merely hope for what is within reach. Dare to believe for what goes far beyond what you've ever thought possible. I am not the God of limits. I am the God of fulfillment, the one who does exceedingly, abundantly above all you ask or imagine. The one who does exceedingly, abundantly above all you ask or expect a joy that cannot be shaken, a healing that leaves no scar, a restoration so complete that no trace of brokenness remains. I am moving behind the veil of time. I am building paths, weaving sacred connections, and preparing people who will arrive in due season, to uplift you, to walk with you, and to lead you further along the road of your divine calling. The situations that once seemed hopeless, the relationships that appeared lost, the dreams you tucked away out of fear of disappointment, all are being restored by my hand, reshaped and infused with new life. Wait with expectation, for the miraculous is on its way. The doors that I open, no one can shut. Not man, not circumstances, not past mistakes, not even doubt. Once I have ordained for you to enter, no force can stand in the way. Opportunities you never imagined are being unveiled. Doors you thought were sealed forever are beginning to open again. And you will come to see that it is not your ability to maneuver that made the way, but the power and kindness of my hand at work on your behalf. Yet in the midst of all the abundance and wonder that is coming, I call you to guard your heart with humility. Let a tender heart before my presence be the foundation for every elevation in your life. Always remember, what you receive is not for boasting, but for serving. What you are entrusted with is not meant to be stored away for yourself alone, but to be poured out for souls who are thirsting. When you keep your heart small before me, I will cause your life to become great in the eyes of the world. I will lift you up, not only in the form of material abundance, but in the deep peace that flows from within, in wisdom that descends from heaven, and in fresh revelations of who I am and the role you are meant to play in my greater plan. You will not only be healed, but become a bearer of healing. You will not only be comforted, but become a source of comfort to many. I do not merely desire to bless you, but to bless through you. And you, who once questioned your own worth, who once lowered your gaze beneath the weight of disdainful eyes, who once asked if you were truly worthy of love, look again. See what I have done. See how I have led you from darkness into a radiant place. See how I am revealing my immeasurable love through even the smallest details of your life. This is not coincidence. This is the intentional choice of a God who loves you unconditionally. I have taken full responsibility to lead you into a life of blessing. A life not merely sufficient, but one that flourishes in soul, in mind, and in circumstance. I have not left you to navigate this world on your own. I envisioned you, dreamed of your journey, and watched over every step you've taken since the beginning. When you wandered off, I called you back. When you stumbled, I lifted you up. When you doubted yourself, I reminded you. You were formed by love and are sustained by the very power of that love. So keep walking, my beloved. Even when things remain unclear, even when your heart wavers. Cling to faith like an anchor in the ocean. Embrace the life I am giving you with expectation, with gratitude, and with a readiness of spirit. The old season has ended, and a new one is emerging, not to test you further, but to usher you into a time of revealing, a harvest of the things you have sown quietly in tears and faith. My precious one, as the door to a new season begins to open, and my promises start taking shape before your eyes, I call you. Do not stop. Let nothing cause you to retreat from the path of righteousness, the path birthed from within, my heart, the journey where every step you take is mirrored by my own. I know you are tired. I have seen your tears. I have felt the moments when you question your own strength, but I have also seen what is greater, the quiet faithfulness within you, the gaze that remains fixed on me, despite all the voices around you that would lead you astray. My child, keep walking forward with unwavering determination. Continue to desire me above all else in life. When you seek me, not for gain, not for miracles, but simply because you love me and long to be near me, it is in that very moment that you are living out the highest purpose for which your soul was created. I never hide my face from a heart that is sincere. I never stay silent before a soul that longs to belong. And when you seek me, you will find me, not as a distant idea, but as a gentle father, a faithful guide, a friend who will never leave your side. Holding on to faith is not always easy, especially when the circumstances around you seem to contradict the promises I have spoken, but it is precisely in those moments that you must remember. Faith is not grounded in what the eyes can see, but in trust in the one who never changes. When you see no results, cling to my word. When you see no miracle, remember that I am working in silence. Even when everything appears still, I am moving, quietly yet more powerfully than ever before. Do not allow fear to creep into your heart. Fear is the whisper of darkness, an arrow aimed at your mind to make you doubt my love, my plan, and your very worth. But I have not given you a spirit of timidity or confusion. I have given you a spirit of power, of love, and of self-retreat. You were not created to shrink back in the face of adversity, but to stand firm and walk boldly into the midst of every trial, knowing this truth: the one who lives in you is greater than anything that comes against you. Hold on to my promises as a traveler clings to a lamp in the dark. Do not let the voices of doubt, comparison, or weariness steal what I have planted within you. There are things I have spoken to you in secret, promises whispered through tears, visions placed in your dreams, gentle stirrings within your spirit. Those were not illusions. They were my voice from heaven, wrapped in love, and they will be fulfilled in their appointed time if you do not let go. You are not alone on this journey. I am the solid ground beneath your feet, the fortress behind you, the wind that lifts your wings when you feel close to collapse. I did not promise that you would never face storms, but I did promise that you would never go through the storm alone. In the roaring wind, I am the stillness. In the dark night, I am the light. In the wilderness, I am the living spring. In the battle, I am the victor who never fails. No power in heaven or earth can stand against the destiny I have decreed over your life. No darkness can extinguish the light I have placed within your soul. No barrier can hinder what I have written about you in my eternal book. The words I have spoken will not return void. They will accomplish their purpose, bear fruit, and be revealed, not according to your calendar, but in my divine timing, the moment when my glory will shine most brightly through your life. You were not created merely to survive. You were destined to overcome, not through your own strength or the strategies of man, but through my unfailing love. That love conquered death, descended into the depths of despair, silenced every accusation, and rose to declare, "This one is mine." That same love is the wind beneath your wings, lifting you above every storm, carrying you beyond every attack, and guiding you into the land I have promised. When you feel small, weak, or unworthy, look to me. Do not fix your eyes on your failures. Do not be bound by your past. Do not let the opinions of others blur the truth I have spoken over you. Lift your eyes to me, and you will see a true reflection of yourself, not as one abandoned, but as one called, not as nameless, but as one who bears my name, not as a failure, but as a victor by the grace I freely give. Believe this with all your heart. Every single day you choose faithfulness. Every moment you choose to trust. Every step you take in obedience. Each one is pushing the door of your destiny closer to opening. Do not let the feeling of delay make you give up. Do not let the waiting give birth to doubt. For in that very waiting I am renewing your soul, refining your faith, and expanding your inner capacity, so that when the blessing comes, you will be strong enough to carry it. You are destined for victory. You were created to reflect my light in a world shrouded in darkness. You are a bearer of divine purpose, whether you feel it or not. And you will rise, not because the winds are favorable, but because I myself am lifting your wings. It is not the storm that will defeat you, but the storm itself that will become the wind beneath your flight. You will not merely survive. You will flourish. You will not just endure. You will overcome. I know well the silent battles you have fought in your mind, where the enemy lurks day and night, trying to stir up old memories, dragging you back to the land of regret and shame. He whispers accusations in your ears, digging up past mistakes, trying to rebuild an outdated image of who you once were, not to lead you toward repentance, but to make you doubt your identity, to convince you that you are still bound in the shadows of your past. He holds up your history like a distorted mirror, hoping you will stare into it and believe you are unworthy of love, undeserving of being chosen, and incapable of moving forward. But my beloved, I saw this coming long before you recognized the attack. I intervened before you ever fully understood the weight of this battle. You stepped into truth the moment you came to me, the moment you dared to lay down those silent burdens you had carried for so long. The ones no one else saw, the muffled cries in your lonely nights. The moments you tormented yourself over things that had already passed, you laid them all before me, not in polished words, but in a broken heart. And it was that offering that opened the gates for my power to intervene. You are no longer bound by those invisible chains. No accusation holds weight when I, the righteous and the faithful one, have declared, you are forgiven. Cleansing is not a symbolic idea. It is a holy reality happening deep within you, where the blood of sacrifice has washed away every trace of defilement, where the power of unconditional love has dissolved every shadow of shame. Sin is no longer your name. You are no longer defined by what you've done. You are now known by the one who created you, the one who sees you fully and still chooses to love you. Imagine what I have done. I have gathered every broken piece of wrongdoing, every sob of failure, every mistake you once held against yourself. I have gathered them not to use them as evidence against you, but to cast them away, to erase them forever, to wrap them up and hurl them into the deepest abyss, where no one and no force can retrieve them again. They no longer exist in heaven's record. When I forgive, I forget, not like people who forgive yet still remember. I am the one who erases and never brings it up again. Not because I have a lapse in memory, but because I choose not to hold it against you. The sins of the past no longer have power to dictate your future. That does not mean I take lightly the weight or consequence of repentance. On the contrary, I cherish the tears that fall in sincerity. I honor every confession spoken from the depth of your soul. But after true repentance, I do not desire that you continue living in guilt as if my sacrifice were not enough. Step out of that cycle. Live as one who has been forgiven. Act as one who has been set free. Walk in liberty, for I have redeemed you at the highest cost. My very life. My grace is not merely a gentle comfort. It is a mighty wave, overwhelming and unstoppable, washing away every stain the enemy ever tried to mark upon your soul. This grace cannot be bought, yet you have received it. Not because you were good enough, but because I am always good. Through the power of resurrection, not merely a historical event, but a living force within you today, you are being restored, not in part, but wholly. That which was broken in you, your trust, your innocence, your hope, is being recreated piece by piece by my own hands. And in that release, I do not simply lift the burden off your shoulders. I clothe you in new garments, garments of righteousness, identity, and renewed life. You are no longer the one who failed. You are now the one fully loved. I am continuing the story of your life, not from the old chapter, but upon a brand new page, where all that belongs to me will be revealed through you. And I want you to know this. What the enemy once used to try and destroy you, I will use to glorify my name. Past failures will become testimonies of grace. Former wounds will become fountains of compassion. You will no longer be ashamed of the places where you once fell, because it is in those very places that I have raised you up. With a strength no one can deny, I will bring you into spaces you never imagined you could enter, not to exalt you, but to reveal that grace is real, forgiveness is real, and restoration is real. My beloved child, do not look back on your past through the eyes of the wounded. Look back through the eyes of one who has been healed. Let your past become proof of the rise, not the weight that pulls you down. Live with deep gratitude, for you have been set free from the prison you once thought inescapable, and carry the spirit of the one who is sent. For what I have done in you is not just for you, but through you. Others will see the light and believe. I am not restoring you solely for yourself. I am restoring you to become a bearer of light. One who dares to tell the old story with honesty and gratitude. One who dares to step into others' darkness, carrying hope. I am shaping you into a vessel, not perfect by the world's standards, but cleansed, anointed, and commissioned by my own hand. So, my most precious one, do not let the shadows of the past return to steal the light in your eyes. Do not allow any accusation to extinguish the flame that is growing within your heart. Stand up each day and remind yourself, I am forgiven. I am healed. I am restored. And I am loved with an unchanging love. And with every breath, every step, you will begin to feel what I have always longed for you to know, that you are truly free. No more chains, no more shame, no more lurking darkness. Only light. The light I am kindling in you so you may walk, shine, and live fully in the life I have redeemed with my very heart. And that, beloved, is the most glorious restoration of all. My precious child, do not let your heart be weighed down by fear of judgment. You no longer live under the burden of condemnation, because you have chosen to step into the sacred territory of my presence. When you come near to me with sincerity, when you embark on the journey of seeking me, not out of ritual, but out of a deep longing, you step out of the shadows of accusation and into the light of unconditional acceptance. I do not place expectations on your shoulders as a burden too heavy to bear. I do not require you to be flawless in order to be close to me. What I desire most is that you continually return, that you never stop longing, never stop yearning for intimacy with me. That is what moves my heart. When you, amidst countless choices and surrounding temptations, still choose me. When you stumble, but lift your gaze to seek me. When you feel weak, yet still whisper, I need you. And in those very moments I do not turn away from you. On the contrary, I draw nearer. I wrap you in my unwavering love. That love is not limited by your mistakes. It is not diminished by your failures. It does not retreat when your heart falters. Because the love I have for you is not born from what you do. It flows from who I am. I am love, and nothing can separate you from that love. No mistake is too great, no past too dark, no trial too fierce. Walk forward with confidence, not in your own strength, but in the grace I bestow. That grace does not arise from merit, but from mercy. It is not based on what you've done, but on what I have already done for you. Hold tightly to the promises I have placed within your heart. Though time may pass and circumstances may shift, I have never broken my word. What I have spoken will not return void. Every promise is a seed, and in my season it will bloom beyond what you have hoped for. Let nothing cause you to question your place in my heart. You are in my hands, not tenuously, but eternally secure. No power can snatch you from my embrace. When I hold you, it is not a fleeting grasp. It is a lasting shelter. You do not need to always be strong to remain near me. You only need to be sincere. I know when you are fighting silently. I see the moments you choose to endure rather than retaliate. I understand every crack within your soul. And I say to you, you have always been in me, No matter what, I will not leave your side. But now, my beloved child, I want you to prepare. Something great, profound, and beyond your imagination is about to be unveiled. Those quiet days when you remained faithful without seeing results, when you prayed and heard no reply, I have seen it all. And now is the time for me to move, not in the way you expected, not according to your timeline, but in alignment with my good and perfect plan. Something far greater than anything you've ever asked for is drawing near. Open your heart wide to receive it. Keep your spirit awake, not just to witness the miracle, but to comprehend the depth of what I am doing. My power will no longer be merely something you read about or hear through the stories of others. It will become a reality you tangibly feel, in your bones, in your breath, in every beat of your heart. I will reveal myself in such a way that you can only stand in awe and proclaim, "You truly are God, and you are here." Before your very eyes, I will open doors that once were sealed. I will cause you to see a way where there once seemed to be no way. I will reverse what was once deemed impossible, not because you are capable enough, but because I am powerful enough. Those around you will be astonished, not because you have become exceptional, but because my glory will shine brightly through you. Those who once doubted, who once judged, who once turned away, will be compelled to look again. They will behold an undeniable truth, that I am moving in your life, and that my presence cannot be denied. In a world saturated with noise and chaotic sounds, where hearts are pulled in every direction by the seductive calls of fear, ambition, desire, and anxiety, I am calling you to step away from it all and enter into a quiet place with me. Close your ears to the whispers of doubt, comparison, and toxic judgments. Let your heart find rest from the burdens that weary your mind and weigh down your soul. And there, in the stillness, you will hear something more profound and more real than all else. My voice, gentle, powerful, and full of authority, calling your name. Do not allow yourself to be buried beneath the ruins of worldly expectations. Lift your eyes and look to me, the one who goes before you, the one who makes a way where there is none, the one who is leading you to a land of fulfillment and divine revelation. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are not lost. I am holding your hand, step by step, on a path that has been drawn by everlasting love, and I am not preparing something temporary for you, but something magnificent, something that will astonish both you and the world in the fullness of how I fulfill my promises. You are not merely a human trying to live a better life. Within you flows a divine source, a sweet spring that will never run dry. That is the gift of my Holy Spirit, dwelling within you as a stream of living water. This stream is not only for you, but has been entrusted to you, so that it may be poured out into the world. You are called to live in the purity, gentleness, and power of true love. Do not suppress what is sacred. Do not hide the tenderness of your soul as if it were weakness. It is precisely that clarity from the inner well that will bring healing to those who come near to you. Let that water flow freely, through a compassionate gaze, through a sincere embrace, through every small act infused with life. Every time you choose love over resentment, every time you choose forgiveness over condemnation, every time you choose to speak encouragement rather than judgment, you are allowing the Holy Spirit to move through you in a living, active way. And it is these moments, seemingly small and quiet, that become the most powerful evidence that you are walking in my presence. I have given you a voice, not just to speak for yourself, but to become a vessel of life for others. Use that voice to comfort the brokenhearted, to remind weary souls that they are not alone, to speak truth wrapped in love, words that can break chains, awaken hope, and open the doors of a new season. Do not deny the greatness that already dwells within you. I have placed within you potentials far beyond what the natural eye can perceive. I have sown in your heart the seeds of influence, creativity, and the power to transform the atmosphere around you, simply through your presence. Do not let fear silence you. Do not let past wounds cause you to shrink back. You were not created to hide the light, but to shine it. You were not called to blend in, but to lead, and you do not need to be worthy to begin, because I am the one who has chosen you, who has called you, and who has made you worthy through my eternal grace. When you speak words from a heart touched by me, you release into the atmosphere the essence of healing and renewal. Every word you speak, when it flows from mercy and selfless love, carries spiritual weight. It has the power to stir the soul of someone standing on the edge of despair. It can peel away the layers of defense and pain that others have built over the years. It can fling wide open doors they once believed would remain forever shut. And you, the one who often thinks of yourself as small and unseen, become the extended hand of mine. Therefore, guard your heart as a gatekeeper tends to a sacred garden. Let what flows from within you carry the fragrance of heaven, the scent of life, peace, and a gentleness laced with power. When you reach out to someone with genuine care, you are allowing the light within you to shine. When you pause to listen to one who is often overlooked, you are putting mercy into motion. And each of these acts, no matter how small, is remembered by me, cherished by me, and woven into the larger tapestry I am crafting through your life. I have called you not merely to survive, but to fulfill a mission, to carry my love to the places that hunger for it most. Do not diminish yourself by thinking, I have nothing to offer. Your very presence, if filled with mine, is already a gift. The kindness in your gaze, the humility in your words, the faith in your voice, each one is an echo of heaven in a world fractured and worn. Let yourself become a sower, scattering seeds of love with each word spoken in compassion, each small act done in sincerity, each silent prayer whispered in the quiet hours of the night, and you will see, not instantly, but surely, that those seeds will begin to sprout, not only in others' lives, but within your own. It is when you give that you truly receive. It is when you speak life that your own soul is revived. It is when you choose to be a vessel that I will not let you run dry. I will pour into you without end, until you overflow, until you spill out, until nothing can hold you back. My beloved, seek me daily, hourly, moment by moment. Come not only because you lack, but because you recognize that there is one who loves you more than anything else in the universe. Let your soul be shaped in my presence, that I may dust off the fears, chisel away the jagged edges of pride, and soften the hardened corners of your heart, worn down by pain. I long for you to see life not through the lens of human limitation, but with eyes enlightened by eternal truth. As you draw near, I will show you things you have never seen. I will lift the veil from your eyes so you can behold beauty in what seems small, and witness miracles hidden in everyday moments. You will come to understand that even in the seemingly insignificant, my hand is quietly at work. Every heartbeat, every tear you gently wipe away for another, every soft word spoken amid a sea of harsh voices, when done in communion with me, bears the imprint of my heart. For I am the one who formed you, every strand of hair, every pulse of your being. every deep longing in your soul. I know you more intimately than you know yourself. I know what makes your heart sing, what causes it to tremble, what brings fear and what once brought tears. I see every unseen triumph and every silent battle fought within you that no one else has ever known. I am the only one who sees even the parts of you you try to hide, and still I choose to love you without condition. So, my child, I do not expect perfection from you. I am not waiting for you to fix yourself before you can come near. I do not need you to pretend strength or cover up your weakness. What I desire is a heart that is real. A heart willing to learn, to love, to forgive, and to believe. Even if it trembles, even if it is scarred, a heart that bows not out of obligation, but because it has been touched by a love so immense, it cannot help but surrender. You belong to me, not in some abstract or symbolic way, but truly, completely, and eternally. When I look at you, I do not see your flaws. I see the precious child whom I have called by name, redeemed at the highest price, and cherished through every passing day. Your presence does not disturb me, my beloved. On the contrary, it brings joy to my heart. Every time you draw near, the spiritual realm trembles. Every time you pray, heaven listens intently. Not a single word spoken in faith is meaningless. Not a single whisper lifted to me is ever ignored. All are treasured like priceless gems in my hand. Your voice, when it aligns with truth, carries immense power. Never underestimate your words. Do not think your voice is too small to matter. When you speak what is right in love, when you intercede for others, when you sing through your tears, the heavens and the earth are shaken. When you dare to speak hope in places that seem lifeless, darkness is driven back. And when you pray, not with volume or eloquence, but with sincere faith, all of heaven leans in to listen. Offer me your prayer with all your heart. You may say, Lord, I am sorry for the many times I rushed through life's noise and missed your gentle call. Now that I hear your voice so clearly, I don't want to turn away anymore. Open the eyes of my heart, that I may recognize the sacred threshold set before me. Break every chain of doubt, every wound and shackle that has held me back, so that I may step forward into what you've prepared. Lord, I have built walls around my heart, out of fear, disappointment, and old wounds. But today, as you speak more clearly and powerfully than ever, I choose to remain with you. Help me to listen, not just with my mind, but with my entire soul. I do not want to miss the glory that is about to be revealed. Teach me to persevere to the end, that I may be led into the deep places of light, where I will never be the same again. Lord, every word you speak is like sweet water reviving the dry ground of my soul. I receive them as living seeds and pray that my heart becomes good soil. Let the roots of faith sink deep within me, so the tree of life may rise even in the face of trial. I long to enter into a season of breakthrough and growth, not by my own strength, but according to the divine plan you wrote for me before the beginning of time. Lord, I used to believe that revelations were only for others, those who were better, holier, more worthy, but now I see it is I whom you are calling. Even with my brokenness, limitations, and failings, you have still chosen me. Help me to remain in your presence, to keep my heart tender before your living word, and to trust unwaveringly, not because I am worthy, but because you are faithful and never break a promise. O Almighty One, I sense you are calling me out of my old comfort zones, places that once felt safe, but were secretly confining my soul. Give me the courage to release relationships, thoughts, and habits that no longer belong in this season. Even in moments when I feel alone, let me be confident that you are making room for new divine connections, people appointed from heaven to walk with me and support the sacred journey you have ordained. Lord, in the moments when you close doors and take away those I once trusted, help me not to linger in regret or fall into bitterness, but to trust that all things serve a divine purpose. Open my heart to receive the new things you are bringing into my life, connections that are born of the Spirit, people who encourage rather than control, who love rather than manipulate. I surrender to your will and believe with all my heart that everything you do is rooted in love and aimed at revealing your glory in me. Lord, when your light shines upon my heart, I recognize the negative words and old judgments that once held my mind captive, but you do not look at me through the lens of past failures. You call me by a new name and clothe me in garments of dignity and righteousness. Help me to lay down every false label and walk as one who has been anointed, not to please the world, but to reflect your light in the midst of the darkness that covers the hearts of many. Lord, I understand now that surrender is not loss, but preparation. I yield to the process of refinement that you are working within me. If I must walk alone for a season to be filled with your presence, I will accept it with a willing heart. Teach me to trust that everything I release will be replaced by something purer, stronger, and more aligned with your perfect timing. I do not want to cling to what is already lifeless when you are offering me new life. When you are offering me new life, Lord, I know that this new journey will require me to stay alert and keep my soul tender. I ask you to grant me the gift of discernment through your Holy Spirit, so that I may not be led by emotion but walk in truth. Teach me to forgive without holding grudges, yet also to be wise in not reopening old doors unless you lead me to do so. Help me learn to love with holy boundaries, with a heart shaped by your wisdom and filled with your grace. Lord, strengthen the voice within me, not for self-defense, but to bear witness to your grace. When I rise amidst doubt, be the force that lifts me. When I speak in the chaos of this world, let my words flow with the love that once lifted me from despair. I do not want to live in silence within a comfort zone, but I long to be a torch burning brightly for the world to see that there is a living God, still active and moving through me. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you love the Lord, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a life-giving, meaningful message from God. Together we will grow in faith and live a life fully rooted in His love. Amen.